So this is a bit of downtown Cordoba, Argentina. And this is a main boulevard. So there's a lot of new buildings, a few old buildings. And it's very busy. So we're staying down this street. And yesterday, from being very warm, it cooled down 20 degrees, and now it's a bit chilly. So we're looking for a place that sells these sandwiches, Milanesa sandwiches, empanadas, some pizza, and some empanadas. And then they have these very thin sandwiches and stuff like sandwiches. I think this is it. Lomo, that's what we want. We want a lomo. So we're gonna get a super lomo. So our lomo sandwich has arrived and it looks delicious. Yum, yum, yum. All right, so after that delicious sandwich, lomo sandwich, which is a very thin steak sandwich, we're back discovering downtown Cordoba, Argentina. So there's an old school here, Colegio de San Jose. And then there's a lot of shops. It's a big city for shopping for the whole province. So this is, people drive in from hundreds of miles around to come shop here in the city. And so next to this old school we have new buildings. And then behind the new buildings, we have some old Spanish style buildings. Very cool. And then there's a modern building with the windows, the big windows. Looks like it's from the 30s or 40s. Newsstand, a coffee, cafe, and we're, wow, look at that. The students of Montserrat. So the Colegio Nacional de Montserrat. So Cordoba is a very big city for students to come and study from all over Argentina. Very interesting. And here it says the Colegio Nacional de Montserrat National High School. Okay, wow. Founded in 1687. Very historic. So these are students that attend the college, Montserrat, the very, very old school. So can you tell me, is it a good school?
Yes.
Yes? And
Sí, mucha. Es muy bueno.
¿está preparada por universidad?
No,
¿O sí?
Ah, sí.
Sí, ok. So, ¿es solo de estudiantes de Córdoba o todo Argentina ven aquí?
Sí, todo Córdoba. Only Córdoba.
Only Córdoba.
Because it's no, no, no.
Ah, ok. Por ese colegio nacional. So,
No,
Es de la universidad.
por eso.
Es de
ah,
la universidad,
ok.
por eso.
Ok, so es preparar por una más grande universidad. Ah, ok, qué bueno. Muchas gracias y mucha suerte. Ok. Okay, this is the heart of Cordoba, Argentina, where these two big streets meet. And there's a lot of important buildings. There's a music theater, venue, and then they turn this old building into a shopping center, and it's quite vibrant here. And these kids are really nice. Everyone's really nice. Okay, Cordoba, downtown Cordoba. We're gonna check out what this pink building is. Oh, the weather's not looking too good right now. We're losing our blue sky. Okay, well, we're gonna take a walk down the avenue that way. So we're in the heart of historic Cordoba, Argentina, and we came here to this plaza for a walking tour and looking for the tour guide. I don't know if he's here yet, but we're supposed to meet here. The free walking tour, and well, you just give them a tip. Anyway, it's a beautiful day, fresh after yesterday was gray and very chilly. So, our free walking tour. There he is. I'm your first customer.
Yeah, of course.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
I'm from Los Angeles, California.
California, welcome.
Yeah,
My name
thank
is
you.
Luca. I'm from San Francisco, but here.
Ah, Luca.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's another San Francisco in California.
No, yeah.
Hello. Where are you from? Norway. Norway. Oh, beautiful. Well, my name is Luca. He's a friend of mine. He already get here. We are about to start about 11.
Welcome to our morning free walking tour. Esto es Córdoba la Antigua, this is Córdoba la Antique. Si quieren hacer este tour en español, ¿sí? Los voy a invitar a que sigan a Luca. And if you want to do this tour in English, please follow me. ¿Ok? Muy bien. Para acabar esto, empezar. Es una piecita. Sí. Es una piecita así. You already don't know me, my name is Simon. And for those who already know me, My name is Simon. Don't worry, I'm not going to change my name during the tour. Welcome to Cordoba, the second biggest city of Argentina. Have you done other free walking tours in the world?
Okay.
Yes? Yeah. So, you already know how a free walking tour works. Awesome. This tour is going to last between 2 and 2.5 hours. We are going to start here in the San Martin Square, and we are going to finish in front of the Patio Olmos Shopping, a very important shopping center here in Cordoba. If during any moment of the tour you need to stop to buy something to drink or you need to ask something, please let me know. And just before we start, I would like to meet you. So please tell me every important thing in Argentina. But the first name of this square was not San Martin. The first name of this square was Big Square, or Main Square. In English is more properly. What happened here was that the city was founded in front of the river that crosses Cordoba. 4 years later, the city center was moved here. And 100 years after our independence, the name of this square became San Martin Square, and it was decorated with a monument of our biggest founding father, General José San Martín. Maybe you have seen this, but Argentina started as a Spanish colonial country, and with the years, after our independence, we decided to not depend anymore from Spain and from any other European country until we saw all the pretty things that France has, and we started to copy all the things from the French style. So that's the reason because this square became very French at the end of the 19th century. To remodel this square was hired Carlos Tais. Buildings of the colonial time here in Cordoba. At your left, the religious power in the Cordoba Cathedral, and at your right, the political power in the Cabildo. Cabildo is a very difficult word to translate, but the best word to translate it is town council. But in Spanish, Cabildo is referred specifically to a town council from the colonial time, from the Spanish colonial time here in Argentina. Okay? Okay, now let's visit the first building in front of the square. Let's go to the cathedral. Okay, let's do a moment here. I want to be the most possible under the shade, so that's the reason, because we stop a moment here. But I want to ask you, how many time do you think it took to build this cathedral?
100 years.
100 years. Anyone else? Okay, it took almost 200 years to finish this cathedral. Why? Because Cordoba was not a very big city until the end of the 19th century. So here in Cordoba, there were not a lot of people with the knowledge of how to build this kind of buildings. The ones who were in charge of building this were the soldiers who administrated Cordoba, and also slaves from African cultures that were brought to Argentina. Over here you can see a memorial of that. Inside of the cathedral, please look at the photo of the man with the cross in his hand. Okay? Now let's go inside. Welcome to the Cordoba Cathedral. The man I showed you in the front of the cathedral is the saint from Cordoba. He is José Gabriel Brochero, better known as Cura Brochero. Cura in English is priest, because Brochero was a priest.
here there is an altar of him in this church because the cura brochero is the saint of the province. It's very important here in the religious and Catholic community of Cordoba. So if you're interested in see the altar of brochero is at the end and at the left. And brochero lives in the mountains of Cordoba. Over there, from there, he felt a lot. The people there because they were very cool. They were
Nuestra Señora de Nieva. So here's a painting of them digging a statue. I have to find out what that story's about. Very young saint. Nuestra Señora de la Ascensión. A pulpit.
So around the cathedral, until the cabildo was started to be built here, what we found was a cemetery next to the cathedral. Don't worry, you are not walking over the grave of no one, because the cemetery here was dismantled and removed from here to the actual cemetery of Cordoba. The cabildo, as I mentioned, it is the town council of the city, well, the original town council of the city. Today, the town council, the town council is not working here anymore. But what we find here are some offices and secretaries from the mayor office, like the touristic information office and the culture secretary. Until the 50s, the intelligence department of the police was working in the cabildo until it was moved here, when at the end of the 60s this place, and completely during the last dictatorship, it started to work as a clandestine detention and torture center. That's the reason, because the name of this museum today is Memory Museum, and the facade was decorated with this fingerprint made with names. These names belong to people who were kidnapped during the last dictatorship. a lot of them end up here again, and that's the reason because in Argentina we know them as the disappear. Apart of the names, you will find numbers related with the years when these kidnappings happened, and between brackets you will also find the word embarazada as an example over here. Embarazada in Spanish means pregnant because a lot of women were kidnapped being pregnant. Their children born here or in this kind of centers and were gave or sold to other families. These kids grew up without knowing who were the real family, and that's the reason because one of the two concepts that are worked here usually is the concept of identity. So that's the reason because the facade is decorated with fingerprints. Church as an institution and the military government. As an example, in this passway we can see that because the clandestine torture center was in front of the cathedral of the city. That's something that you will, if you visit other museums like this, you will notice a lot of these kind of detention and torture centers were inside or in front of religious institutions like chapels, convents, in this case the cathedral. Okay? The first part of this museum is like a combination between museums and churches. Cordoba has a lot of this. So the next one is the church.
Chess in the park, yay! In that square, you will also find other statues on your left. Behind those bushes is the José Gabriel Brochero statue, the Saint of Cordoba, the one I mentioned you before inside of the cathedral. Behind me is other of the oldest congregations who arrived to Cordoba. Is the Dominican Church of the city. This is a convent of contemplative nuns. So in this convent, in this church, when you visit it, you will find that the nuns are looking to you contemplatively, like because this is a contemplative convent. The story of this convent is very unique because the Dominican order asked for permission to open in this city a convent, and the other religious congregations were against this. For exception, but the obispo of Tucumán, the one who ruled Cordoba, was in charge to say yes or no, and he accepted to have a nun's convent here in the city, and that's the reason because this convent is the oldest convent in Cordoba. This is something like important. Oh,
if you like dulce de leche, I'm going to show you other two. Do you know the name of this? It's very self-descriptive. It's dulce de leche cono in Spanish. Cono de dulce de leche. And something from Cordoba made dulce de leche, very tasty, that I always recommend, is this, a colación. The colaciones are these not sweet cookies with dulce de leche.
Ooh, free sample.
And
Ooh, thank you.
a white ice above. Oh, gracias, Nico. This is something very only from Cordoba, and it's very tasty if you like dulce de leche. This alfajor is the dulce de leche.
Ooh,
Guys, if you like dulce de leche, I'm going to show you other two. Do you know the name of this? It's very self-descriptive. It's dulce de leche cono in Spanish. Cono de dulce de leche. And something from Cordoba made dulce de leche, very tasty, that I always recommend, is this, a colación. The colaciones are these not sweet cookies with dulce de leche.
Ooh, free sample.
And
Ooh, thank you.
a white ice above. Oh, gracias, Nico. This is something very only from Cordoba, and it's very tasty if you like dulce de leche. This alfajor is the dulce de leche.
There's always a lot of candy and cookies. Always candy and cookies. Dulces.
And it talks about Passover man.
At our left is the building you find it called the Cultural Center Women's Museum. This is a modern art museum with paintings and from Tuesdays to Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Let's keep walking.
Hey, puppy dogs! I'm just amazed how much shopping districts you have. Just galerías and galerías and galerías.
The city center, until the from the 50s and 60s, started to work around the big buildings with the galleries above them. So that's the reason, because in the center of the blocks you will find a big building, like that way you will see that. And above the building, a big gallery that crosses all the blocks.
Los Angeles, California.
California, okay. California Dreaming, yes. Okay, well, welcome.
for free. Free. Afterwards, if you wish, you may leave a collaboration, right? Just for the museum. You will find the history of this place if you want to improve your Spanish over there on the walls. But I believe he has told you a little bit of free. Nevertheless, you
Amazing. It's just like shopping and shopping and shopping. So much shopping. Beautiful Art Deco buildings, old cinema, now a parking lot. So it's quite incredible, Cordoba. I didn't expect it to be so big and busy. It's like second largest city in Argentina, so it's really busy.
His movies now?
No.
Not? Yeah, right. Because he didn't do any of that. He was the governor of Cordoba during, at the end of the 18th century. This was the house where he lived. And this house was also the residence of the governors of Cordoba. The most important governor who lived here was the Marquis of Sobremonte, and that's the reason because today we know this museum as the House of the Marquis of Sobremonte. It's the oldest museum of the city. It's from the year 1919. In this case, what we find is a typical Spanish colonial house.
Ooh, that bread looks good.
The next stop of this tour is the museum behind me. Probably in the city of Cordoba, this is the saddest museum, ironically, because this is the currency museum. And well, you know how is the story of the Argentine currency, but originally this building was the Cordoba Bank's building, and 1 decade and a half ago this building became the museum architect Francisco Tamburini. Francisco Tamburini was the architect behind this building, and he also was the one behind the Congress in Buenos Aires, the Colón Theater in Buenos Aires, and here in Cordoba he also designed the San Martin Theater, a theater we are going to visit. In this building, what we find today is the currency museum, but actually the most interesting part of the museum are not the coins and bills.
So spring is here in Argentina. It's nice to see the trees turning green here. A very beautiful spring day, October 4th, 2023.
But the only thing I carry is like
A very cool modernist building. Look at the trunks on these trees. I've been here a long time.
That's the
You speak a little or you speak fully Spanish. You have seen that in Spanish the name of this place is Manzana Jesuitica. And maybe you ask yourselves, why manzana? Manzana is apple. I saw that in Duolingo. Manzana is apple.
Apple, yeah.
Yes. Okay. In Spanish, the word, at least in Argentina, especially in Argentina, manzana also means block. So depending on the context, if someone tells you I'm going to eat an apple, he will think in the fruit and not in the block.
Okay.
The Jesuit block is all the block behind me. The three most important monuments of this block are the Company of Jesus Church, the Historical Museum of the National University of Cordoba behind this church, and the National High School of Montserrat, next to the Museum of the University. We are going to visit those buildings later. First, from here you can see the Company of Jesus Church, and over there, Pope Francisco is the first Jesuit Pope of all history, and he has three complete courses: theology, philosophy, and biology.
Papa Francisco!
He studied and lived 2 years here in Cordoba in the Argentina. There is a lake at the entrance. Okay, here we stop. Welcome to the National University of Cordoba. Originally, the university worked in this building when it was founded in the year 1613. This university is the third oldest university of Latin America and the oldest university of this country. After the Mexico University and the San Marcos University in Lima, Peru, this university is the third oldest of Latin America. And that's the reason because Cordoba is also known as La Docta. Do you know what docta means in Spanish or Latin? Doctor or doctor comes from the word doctor or docta, someone with a lot of knowledge. And that's the reason because the city of Cordoba was known as La Docta. The local people came during
Ooh, more cake!
like every important thing in Argentina, what's the name of this building, of this theater? San Martin Theater. This theater was inaugurated in the year 1891. It's the biggest theater of the city with an Italian neoclassic style, and it was made by Francisco Tamburini, the architect in the name of the currency museum that we visited before. In front of the theater, you can see two flags. Do you know what flag is that? White and blue? Yes, it's the flag of the World Cup country winner.
That was a trick question.
Yes. And do you know what flag is that with red, white and blue? Is the flag of the best province of the World Cup winner country.
Cordoba.
Yes, that's the flag of Cordoba.